we have seen that in engineering components, most of the time they are going to be subjected to more than one force. Then we are going to be called, that is going to be system of the forces, or the group of forces, or the set of the forces are going to be acting on that component. So in this, the concurrent forces, in this case what will happen, the total, the point of application, the point of origin for all the forces are going to be the one. So in this case, if that is the situation, so we are using the resolution or method of the projection method we are using to find out the resultant component. It is very clear that the system that I am going to be considering, this is the O, is the point where the total forces are going to be originating from that. So then there is the P, Q, S, T, these four forces are going to be acting. So then which direction that object will move, either Q or P or S, T. We know that it is going to be moving in the resultant component direction. Right? So then how we are going to be calculating the resultant component for this case? So then in this case I am going to be considering towards the right side is going to be the x component is going to be the positive, and upward direction that is going to be the positive, and towards from this point left side the horizontal component is the negative, and towards the downside I can say that is going to be the negative component. So then in this case we are all to observe that there is going to be, the forces are going to be existed in the four quadrants. So that I am going to say this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. So according to that, we will get the positive and the negative values which are acting on the component. So then while you are calculating the resultant component, so how we are going to be taking this part? The first, we need to calculate the horizontal forces and vertical forces. Then we are going to be taking the summation of that part. So how we are going to be taking here, what are the forces we do have? So in this case, the first free body diagram, if I am going to be taking the force P. So that force is going to be acting towards this side. I am going to be resolving this force, and it is making with the horizontal is going to be the theta1 angle it is going to be making. So this force I am going to be resolving the horizontal component as well as the vertical component. So that I am going to be resolving. This is going to be the P cos theta 1, and this force I am going to be saying P sin theta 1. Right? And similarly, the second force is going to be acting in this direction, that is the Q. So that is going to be acting from this point towards second quadrant. This is going to be the Q, and it is also making with the horizontal component, that's going to be here is the theta 2. So then this component I am going to say Q cos theta 2, and this force I am going to say Q sin theta 2. And similarly, the force S is going to be acting in the third quadrant. So that is force is going to be acting, in this case that is going to be towards this side. This is going to be the S, and here the horizontal component is going to be the S cos theta 3, because it is making with the, this is going to be S sin theta 3. And similarly, the fourth quadrant also subjected to one force, that's going to be the T force. So that I am going to be taking here. This is direction is going to be your T. So it's making with the horizontal component theta 4. So this is going to be T cos theta 4, and this is going to be T sin theta 4 we are getting. So once we are getting this one, so then easily we can calculate the vertical components as well as the horizontal components. So for this one I am preparing a table to make you to understand easily. Right? So in this case, what we are going to be taking, this is going to be the free body diagram of the individual forces. Once we are getting, then inclination also we do have. What is the angle it is going to be making? So that is going to be the angle with the horizontal component. So that's going to be angle with the horizontal component. So this is going to be theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and theta 4. So these are the angles it is going to be making. So then what is this one? Now we need to go with the x component as well as the y component. So I am going to be trying to take here the x component and the y component. What is the force here, x component here? That's going to be P cos theta 1, and here this is going to be Q cos theta 2, and here S cos theta 3, and this is going to be T cos theta 4. And similarly, the y components we do have P sin theta 1, Q sin theta 2, and the next one we do have S sin theta 3, T sin theta 4. So these are going to be the components in the x direction and the y direction. We need to summation of these x components, we will get it, and similarly y components we will get it. That finally we will draw the free body diagram for that, and then we are going to be calculating the resultant component. So by using this table that I am going to be writing, the summation of the forces x direction f of x is equal to, that is equal to, what's the formula? P cos theta 1 plus q cos theta 2 plus S cos theta 3 plus T cos theta 4. This addition of all these things, we will get the component of the x. Similarly, the summation of the forces Fy is equal to, what is that one? So that's this summation of all these four forces we need to take. At the same time, they are existed in the second quadrant. This force is going to be acting in the vertical direction. This is also vertical direction. This is going to be acting directly towards the left side, and this is going to be acting towards the right side. So then these components are going to be minus, and the minus signs we are going to be getting. And similarly, this component is going to be in the second quadrant. It is acting towards the left side. So this is going to be acting in the vertical direction. This is going to be the positive, and this is going to be the negative. And similarly, the third quadrant, x is going to be moving towards the left side, and this is also moving in the downward direction. Then it is going to be the negative. So in this case, T cos theta 4, and this is going to be acting towards the right side, and this is going to be acting towards the downside, so vertically down. So these formulas we are going to be getting, this is going to be the minus value, and here also we will get the minus. So only these are the minus variation, plus or minus variations. So then sigma f of y is equal to, what's the formula we got? P sin theta 1 q sin theta 2, because this vertical force is acting in the upward direction. Similarly, this is going to be third component. This force is acting in the vertical, because in the fourth quadrant, sorry, in the third quadrant, it is moving in the downward direction. Minus S sin theta 3, and here minus, it is also in the fourth quadrant, it is moving in the downward direction. The T sin theta 4. This way, we are going to be calculating the sigma f of x and sigma f of y. Once we are going to be calculating, then we will draw the free body diagram for that. So I am going to be draw the free body diagram in this case. That's going to be, this is going to be the sigma f of x, this is going to be the sigma f of y. So that point is O. See, in the previous we do have the four forces, and now we are converted into the two forces in this one. So then the resultant force is going to be acting, by assumption is that toward this direction, this is going to be the inclination is the alpha. The resultant component here, that R is equal to, how we are going to be calculating? This is going to be the Pythagoras theorem, suppose. That's going to be R is equal to the square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y whole square. So this magnitude, if you are going to be substituting this one, we will get the resultant component. So then how could you calculate the alpha? That is going to be tan alpha is equal to opposite side by adjacent side we are taking. That is going to be sigma f of y, sigma f of x. This way we are calculating the resultant component, and similarly for the inclination with the horizontal components we are going to be calculating. So in the coming sessions we will see what are the problems are going to be really existed on this kind of concepts. So this will comes to the concurrent forces on the same plane. These forces are going to be acting. Now we are trying to solve one problem on the resolution or method of projection of the forces. Right? In this case, the problem is that the horizontal and the vertical components of force are 50 newtons and 20 newtons. He has given the horizontal component and the vertical components of the two forces are acting on a body. That is 50 newtons, 20 newtons. Determine the magnitude and the direction of the resultant. So from this one, these two terminologies, I am going to be draw the pictorial view for that part. The one is going to be the horizontal component, is going to be this one. I am going to say f of x, and one component is in the vertical direction, that is the f of y. And I am going to be considering this is one of the rigid body, right? And the forces, one is the horizontal, one is in the vertical direction. So what I am going to do? So this is going to say horizontal component force is going to be f of x is equal to 50 newtons he has given, and similarly the vertical component is going to be 20 newtons that is given here. So now we need to find out the resultant component for this magnitude and the directions we need to calculate. So in this case, one thing we need to observe, the force is going to be acting in the horizontal direction and the force is going to be acting in the vertical direction. It is very clear that the object is not able to move in the x direction, not move in the vertical direction, but it will move in the other direction, that is going to be in the resultant direction. So that force I am going to be taking randomly, this is going to be the R, that is the resultant component I am going to be show with R, and it is going to be making an angle alpha here. So alpha is going to be the resultant component inclination with the horizontal component, and R is going to be the resultant component of these two forces we are going to be getting. So then how could you get it from this one? As we know that, so from this equation the solution is that R is going to be the resultant component, that's R is equal to, what's the formula we do have? That's going to be from the resolution of the components, that's going to be square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square we do have. So what is the sigma f of x here? How many forces we do have in the horizontal? One force. In the vertically, one force is there. So that I am going to be substituting here. That's going to be square root of 50 square plus 20 square. So if you are going to be simplifying this one, so then the 50 square plus 20 square, the square root of, then finally we are getting that component that is equal to 53.8 newtons we are getting. So this is going to be the resultant component. R is equal to 53.8 newtons we got it. So that means this is the component. See, we can see here the Fx is going to be the 50 newtons. So once we calculated the resultant component, that is going to be 53.8 newtons. Now we are going to be calculating the inclination of the resultant with respect to the horizontal component. So then I am going to be taking here is going to be the tan alpha. The tan alpha is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. So then in this case sigma f of y by sigma f of x. So the summation of the forces in the vertical direction by summation of the forces in the horizontal direction. So that is equal to here is going to be 20 by 50 we are getting. So once you are going to be taking the tan towards that right side, so then alpha is equal to tan inverse 2 by 5 suppose. So then this angle is going to be tan inverse 2 by 5, that is equal to here that 21.8 degrees. So that's alpha is equal to 21.8 degrees. So this way we are going to be calculating the resultant component, that means which direction that object is going to be moving, because it is not moving in the x direction, not moving in the y direction, but it is taking in the other direction forces. So that's the resultant component, and the inclination to the horizontal component also we do have calculated. So by using the resolution and the method of projection for the finding out the resultant component of the number of forces are acting on the system, we are going to be using this method. So in this case he has given the rigid body, and what he has given in that problem, find the resultant of the following the force system. So in this case the rigid body is going to be subjected to the two forces which are passing to the same point. So this is going to be the common point we do have, that means the point of application is going to be the same, but the line of action is going to be a little different to each other. So that means these are going to become the concurrent forces. So that means they are passing to the same point. So then we can say, so how many forces we do have? We do have the two forces. One is going to be the 300 newtons, second one is going to be the 250 newtons. At the same time, it is going to be making with the horizontal axis is going to be 45 degrees the force 300 newtons, and the 250 newtons is going to be making with the horizontal axis is the 30 degrees it is going to be making. So then how we are going to be, so finally we need to find out the resultant component, and inclination with the horizontal components we need to calculate. So how we are going to be calculating? The same process we are using here. So what is the resultant component? The R is equal to the formula, the summation of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square. So if you are going to be using, then we will get it. So what is the sigma fx? Sigma fx is going to be the forces in the horizontal component we are going to be considering, and sigma fy is going to be the forces in the vertical direction. That means in this case the two forces we need to convert it into one is going to be the horizontal forces, one is in the vertical forces, but in this case these two are acting at the inclination. So then the same process we are going to be using for this part. So once we are getting and automatically the resultant component easily you can calculate, and similarly alpha also we can calculate. So what is the given data in this case? So I am going to be taking the free body diagram for the individual forces. So I am going to be considering this 300 newtons is going to be the F1, and similarly the 250 newtons is going to be called the F2 force. So in the given data I am going to be calling F1 is equal to 300 newtons, and it is making theta 1 is equal to 45 degrees with the horizontal component. And similarly F2 is the force that is equal to 250 newtons, and theta 2 is going to be making an angle of 30 degrees. So then I need to find out the sigma f of x and sigma f of y. So by this one I can resolve this force into one is going to be the horizontal component, one is going to be the vertical component. So this horizontal component I am going to be say F1x, F1y. And similarly the F2 also I am going to be resolving into horizontal and the vertical components. So one is going to be, this force is going to be acting towards this side, that I am going to say F2x, and this is going to be moving in the downward direction, F2y I am going to be saying. At the same time, the sign conventions point of view, from this point which is moving towards the right side is the positive, which is moving towards this side is going to be the negative, and above is the positive and below from that point is going to be the negative we are going to be considering. So then how would you solve this one? So that means f of x is equal to, in this case, so sigma f of x is equal to f1x plus f2x we need to take it, because the summation of the horizontal forces we are going to be considering. What is the f1x in this case? In this case, suppose you are going to be taking, this is the 300 newtons is the f1, and similarly this is going to be your f1x, suppose we need this magnitude, right? So then it is going to be making an 45 degrees. So then how could you find out this part? Because this is the adjacent to the angle. So then I am going to be writing f1 cos 45 degrees. If I am going to be taking the f1 cos 45 degrees, and this vertical component also going to be f1 sin 45 degrees, because this is going to be the opposite side of this part. So then f1 we got it, f2 how could you calculate? Because this force is going to be acting towards this side. This is the f2 and it is going to be making the 30 degrees. So we need to resolve this force into horizontal component as well as the vertical component. So this is going to be your f2x cos 30 degrees, f2y sin 30 degrees we are going to be taking. So in this case, this is the resolution of the force, F2 into horizontal and the vertical components. So that I am going to be substituting in this equation. So what I am going to be getting, sigma fx is equal to f1x is equal to how much here? F1 cos 45 degrees plus f2 is equal to here f2 cos 30 degrees we will have. So f1 is equal to how much we did? That's going to be the magnitude is equal to 300 newtons. So this is going to be the 300 newtons cos 45 degrees plus f2 is going to be your 250 newtons cos 30 degrees. Then finally, summation of the forces in the horizontal f of x is equal to, if you are going to be simplifying this one, cos 45 degrees is equal to 1 by root 2 and cos 30 is equal to root 3 by 2. Suppose if you are going to be substituting in this equation, sigma f of x is equal to how much we are getting? Minus 4.38 newtons we are getting. So that's going to be minus. That means the force is going to be acting towards the left side, and even though the force is going to be 300 newtons over there. So this way we are going to be calculating the sigma f of x, and similarly we need to calculate the sigma f of y. As we know that sigma f of y is equal to the vertical summation of the vertical components we need to take it. So here I am going to be writing sigma f of y is equal to, that's going to be f1y plus f2y, because the two forces, one we resolved in the vertically and second force also resolved in the vertically downward direction, upward direction, that depends on the direction of the forces. So then what is the f1y is equal to? What is the f1y here? So that's going to be here, f1 is equal to be, in the horizontal vertical component is the f1 sin 45 degrees, and similarly f2 is equal to the vertical component is the f2 sin 30 degrees. So once we are going to be have that, I am going to be substituting here, f1 is equal to 300 sin 45 degrees plus f2 is equal to 250 sine 30 degrees. So then once you are going to be simplifying this equation, then finally sigma Fy is equal to 87.13 newtons we are getting. So that's going to be sigma Fy, we got it. So once we got the sigma Fy and the sigma Fx, so then this total equation I'm going to be simplifying that. So once we calculated, and this is equal to this force I am going to be taking here, Fx is going to be the minus, it is going to be reflecting from this origin. I am going to be show this is going to be the Fx summation of the forces, because we got the negative value. Similarly Fyu we got the positive value. So that's I'm going to be shown in the vertically. That's going to be summation of the Fy. So these two forces Fx and Fy. So then what is the resultant component? R is equal to, already we do have the formula, summation of the forces in the x direction whole square plus summation of the y direction. So that means Fy whole square we need to take it. So then I'm going to be substituting these values, the square root of minus 4.38 whole square plus 87.13 whole square. So then finally that's R is equal to, we are getting that the value of that is equal to 87.24 newtons. 87.24 newtons. So this way we are going to be calculating the R value, that is the resultant component. So that means it is going to be moving, which direction it is going to be? So R is going to be moving either this direction or this direction. That means it will move in this direction. This is the R. So then what is the inclination with the horizontal component? This is the alpha. So that I am going to be taking tan alpha is equal to summation of the forces in the vertical direction by summation of the forces in the x direction. So that I am going to be taking 87.13 by 4.38. So from this one alpha is equal to, so alpha is equal to, we are getting 92.88 degrees. So alpha we got it 92.88 degrees. So this way we are going to be calculating the resultant component as well as the inclined to the horizontal force we are going to be calculating. By using the resolution and the method of projections, we need to do the one more problem on that to find out the resultant component and what's the inclination with the horizontal component, right? So here see, a particle O is acted upon by the forces shown in figure. So that means this is the particle I am going to be show here, the indicated letter with the O. Find the direction as well as the magnitude of the resultant force. The same as that of the previous problem. So in this case we can see this is the particle O. That means can you see how many forces are going to be acting here? So 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 forces are going to be acting, and the point of application here, can you see they are going to be acted exactly there. Then we can say these are going to be the concurrent forces are acting at this body. So for the simplification I am going to be give this 200 newtons is going to be the F1 and 250 newtons I am going to be say this is going to be your F2 force, and this is the F3 force, and this is going to be the F4 force we do have. So F4 is going to be 350 newtons. At the same time, he has provided the inclination with the horizontal component. F1 is going to be 30 degrees, F2 is going to be almost it is in the 90 degrees, F3 is equal to here 45 degrees, and F4 is equal to 40 degrees we do have. So then how could you calculate the resultant component? We do have a standard formula that's going to be R is equal to the square root of sigma Fx square plus sigma Fy square. Once we are going to be calculating the forces in the horizontal direction, the forces in the vertical direction, then we can calculate the resultant component. And similarly, the inclination also we can calculate. So how we are going to be solving this one? So I am going to be writing here the data is equal to F1 is equal to 200 newtons and theta 1 is equal to 30 degrees. F2 is equal to 300 newtons. Sorry, this is going to be F2 is going to be this component, that is the 250 newtons. And what is the theta 2 for this one? Theta 2 is equal to here 90 degrees. And similarly, we do have F3 is equal to 300 newtons and theta 3 is equal to 450 degrees. 45 degrees. F4 is equal to 350 newtons and theta 4 is equal to 40 degrees. So with the help of this one, we need to calculate the summation of the forces in the horizontal direction as well as in the vertical directions. So once we are getting this one, I'm going to be trying to resolve this F1 in the horizontal component as well as the vertical component. For this one, I'm going to be taking the free body diagram for this part. This is going to be the F1 and it is going to be the horizontal axis. This is going to be theta 1, I'm going to be say. So then how could you resolve the forces in the x-axis as well as in the vertical axis? For this one, I'm going to be taking like this. In this case, what will happen? This force is going to be acting towards this side and this force is going to be acting towards this side. So then this force is, I'm going to be say F1x is equal to, what's the formula? Because this is the adjacent the side of this triangle, then I'm going to be getting F1 cos theta 1. And similarly, this component F1y is equal to, what's the formula opposite side? That's going to be F1 sin theta 1, we will get it. So this way, we are going to be resolving the F2, F3 and F4. Right? The vertical components will go to the y components and the horizontal components will go to the x-axis components. So then I am going to write in here the summation of the forces f of x is equal to the forces we are going to be getting here. That's going to be f1x plus f2x, f3x plus f4x. What is the f1x? That is equal to f1 cos theta 1 we are getting. That's going to be f1 cos theta 1. What is the f2x in this case? F2 is acting vertically in the upward direction. So even though that I am going to be taking here f2x cos theta 2. Similarly, for this the force, the third force we do have. So that is equal to f3 cos theta 3. Similarly, f4 cos theta 4 we are getting. So this way we resolved for this f4 and f3 also. If I am going to be substituting these values in this equation, so then what I am going to be getting? So here the theta 2 is equal to be 92 degrees. 90 degrees. F1 is equal to how much we do have? That's going to be 200 newtons. Theta 1 is equal to 30 degrees. Similarly, F2 is equal to 250 newtons. Cos theta 2 is equal to cos 90 degrees. Plus F3 is equal to how much here? 300 newtons. 300 newtons and theta is equal to cos 45 degrees. Similarly, F4 cos theta. F4 is equal to how much here? That's going to be 350 newtons and cos 40 degrees. If I am going to be simplifying this equation and cos 30, cos 90, cos 45, if I am going to be substituting and the summation of all these forces, the force is going to be acting in the horizontal, that is equal to minus 307 7.04 newtons we are getting. This is going to be the force in the horizontal component. The same force I am going to be writing in this case minus this is showing. So this is going to be the summation of the f of x because it is moving towards this side because we got the negative value of this one. Similarly, I am going to be calculating the vertical component forces we are going to be calculating. So that's going to be summation of the forces in the vertical components, that is equal to F1y plus F2y plus F3y plus F4y components I am representing. So F1y is equal to how much? That's going to be F1y is equal to F1 sin theta 1 we are getting. So that's going to be F1 sin theta 1 plus what is the force for the F2? That I am going to be getting the F2 sin theta 2. F3 is equal to how much? That is going to be 300. 300 sin 45 degrees plus F. This is going to be the your F3. F4 sin 40 degrees we are getting. So we can say theta 1, theta 2, and this is going to be your theta 3, and this is going to be your theta 4. Right? So once we are getting this value, then I am going to be substituting. So F1 is equal to how much? 200 newtons sin 30 degrees. F2 is equal to how much? So that's going to be 250 sin 90 degrees. F3 is equal to 300 sin 45 degrees, because all the vertical components we are getting the sine components because we are taking only the angle with respect to the horizontal components, plus 350 sin 40 degrees we got it. So once if I am going to be substituting sin 30 on all these values, the final component of this in the y direction, sigma f of y is equal to, we are getting 337.15 newtons. So once we are getting the sigma f of x and sigma f of y, then easily we can calculate the sigma, that means the resultant component. So in this case, we got the sigma fx is going to be the negative, we got it, and this is going to be the, we got the fy is in the positive. That's why I'm going to be writing sigma f of y. It means that the resultant component will move in this direction and it is going to make it an angle alpha. That's we need to calculate these two components. So we know that the resultant component r is equal to the square root of sigma f of x square plus sigma f of y square we do have. So I am going to be substituting r is equal to the square root of minus 307.04 whole square plus this is going to be 337.15 whole square. Once we are getting this one, if you simplify, so that answer is we are getting here 456.01 newtons we will get it. This is equal to the resultant component 0.1. Similarly, we can calculate the inclination with the horizontal, that means angle of the resultant component with respect to the horizontal, that's going to be tan alpha is equal to, what's the formula will you have? The summation of the forces in the vertical direction, summation of the forces in the x direction. So then finally, we are getting sigma f of y is equal to 337.15 by 307.04. From this simplification, after we are getting the tan towards the right side, the tan inverse that component we are getting, finally 47.68 degrees we are getting. So this way we are going to be calculating the resultant component, and similarly we are calculating the inclination with the horizontal component. So this is going to be making an angle.